What's up, you guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Debates Season 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'm so glad you guys keep coming back. I am in the moderator's chair today, and today we have an exciting match for you guys. Today's topic is, what is the best Marvel TV series? And today I have my two opponents for today would be Jeremy Branch repping WandaVision, and also Izzy from the Four Nerds in One podcast repping Spider-Man 1994. Newcomer on the show, rocking his Miles Morales shirt. How are you guys doing today?
It's all good, man. I'm happy to be here. First time, Hopefully I get to hold it down.
We've had a good conversation leading up to this point. I'm leaving it all on the table. From this moment forward, we are bitter enemies. No, I actually love your pick, and I'm excited to be able to kind of see who comes out on top of this. And as always, we want to hear from the fans as well. And I can't speak for everyone. I don't care about what your favorite is. All right. You can save it. Wait till the end. Let us know what your favorite debate was. Who ended up winning you over objectively. Let's talk about it down in the comment section afterwards.
Most definitely. And you know what? I've been loving what we've been able to do these last few episodes. The last episode we did, the Fast and Furious debate, freaking hilarious.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I'm saying this now because we're pre-recorded and I haven't released it yet, but when y'all have seen it, I'm just assuming y'all have laughed just as hard as I have in making the post-production, because it was so funny to watch and so funny to put together. But if this is your first time ever watching this show, here are the rules. Each component has 3 rounds. Each round is 2 minutes per round, and the first round will be the introduction of their round. That round they get to introduce both of their shows, WandaVision and Spider-Man 1994. And the second round will be the battle round, where they get to pull apart each of their shows. What makes it great? What makes it terrible? Whatever contradictions that they can conclude, or they can do something very Jurassic that will throw the moderator off. And the last round is the final statements round, is where they get to wrap up their arguments. Again, there's 2 minutes per round. Now, if I feel like they're evenly matched at any point, we have one more special round called Sudden Death, which each component will have 1 minute to put another bow on their topic. Again, they can continue attacking or they can continue up playing their topic. Now that you guys understand these rules, Izzy, since you are a newcomer, this is your first time on Real Debates, I'm going to give you the option, because normally we'll do 1 through 10. I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I'd like to leave it up to chance. I say run the 1 through 10.
Oh, okay. So,
I respect it. I respect it.
Now, Izzy, I forgot to mention this off camera, but since you're on the show, I'm going to mention this. If you mess up at any point, we have this segment called Roll the Tape. Okay. Oh, Jeremy experienced that last episode. So if you mess up anything, we will roll the tape on you. I've been rolled the tape on myself. Okay. Even the moderator has been rolled the tape on.
No one's immune.
I want to throw that out there for all of the competitors who want to play. There is a roll the tape. So now that you brought that up, 1 to 10, pick a number between 1 and 20.
Ooh.
16.
Okay, Jeremy, 1 to 20.
It's a very good number. I'm going 13. Lucky number 13.
Damn, Jeremy, you were close. My number was 14.
Ooh.
Jeremy, since Jeremy is the reigning champ of Real Debate Season 2.
Okay.
Not so much
season
this
1,
season.
Season 3, all that shit. Yeah. Let's go.
Would you like to go first or second?
I honestly, I feel like in this debate, I'm going to go first. I got a little bit of catching up to do. I did some preparation for my pick, and I need to see where Izzy stands at the end of this. So I'm gonna go first the first round, and we'll see how it goes from there.
All right, sir, you're gonna go first. I got my timer set. Your 2 minutes starts now.
All right, so when you ask the question, what is the best Marvel series? There's a lot of different directions that you can take this. When I think of television, I traditionally think of the television format. Is animated television Of course it is. But when you say best Marvel series, my mind doesn't immediately go all the way back to the 1990s when we were kids and there were these really awesome animated series that were coming out. You had X-Men and you had the minorly inferior Spider-Man, right? Like you had the amazing theme song from X-Men. What a great opening credit sequence. And then you had Spider-Man. I'm not going to spend my whole time singing that terrible theme song, but I decided to go a different direction because this is the pick that actually works best for the best MCU or the best Marvel series, and that is WandaVision. And the reason why WandaVision is the best is because it's the first that is actually overseen by Kevin Feige, which means we're bringing in the big guns. We get the big budget. We get the beloved cast members from Paul Bettany.
Don't get to make that choice for me, Wanda.
To Elizabeth Olsen.
How did you know about Ultron?
We've got Catherine Hahn that plays Agatha Harkness.
The name's Agatha Harkness. Lovely to finally meet you, dear.
Evan Peters. I mean, the cast in this is phenomenal, and it honors the legacy of television in a way that no other series has. Like, the reason why this is the best Marvel series is because it acknowledges the legacy of television. It has such a deep reverence for it that it makes us nostalgic about shows that we never even saw before. This shit was outside of the box, dude. The first 3 episodes of it are homages to the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Hello, dear. I'm Agnes, your neighbor to the right. My right, not yours. Forgive me for not stopping by sooner to welcome you.
Bewitched, Brady Bunch, and it's like all in service of reminding us as why families sitting in front of the television is something that has been a part of the collective American experience ever since the very beginning.
And
is
that's
every
2 minutes, two
All
minutes, 2 minutes. You did that was actually a good opening. Jared, I'll dive into deliberations at the end of the match, but just to give a few quick highlights. Great opening about talking about the animated series in a sense, but also diving into the fact of WandaVision has acknowledging the legacy of Marvel TV, that, and also acknowledging the history of TV, of the different homages. That was very important of the show, because when you watch the show, oh my God, there's so many things that they reference into pop culture. So I did really enjoy those points. Izzy, now it's your turn. You have 2 minutes to let us know why you picked not Spider-Man 1994. Your 2 minutes starts now.
All right, guys. So it is 1994. Marvel is in dire straits. No one's buying comic books. Not only are people not buying comic books, people are disillusioned with the concept of superheroes as a whole. We've passed Bronze Age, and now we don't know what to do. When people think superheroes at this point in time, they think Super Friends. They think campy, boom, thwack, zock shenanigans.
You need to cool that shit out.
Okay. You did mention X-Men, and I'm going to mention that too. X-Men and Spider-Man were 2 shows that completely saved not only Marvel as a business, but the comic industry as a whole.
You're definitely not the same guy I've been writing about all these years.
Well, Stan, we all have to grow up sometime.
We don't get, so personally, I wouldn't even be in the comics if it weren't for these 2 shows. But we don't get to where we are today without these 2 particular phenomenal instances of TV. The reason I did not pick X-Men is because Spider-Man goes the extra mile. Spider-Man does one thing that we continue to do in every single solitary instance of TV media to this day regarding superheroes, and that's lean incredibly hard into their personal life.
Peter, I think it's time we shared our little secret.
X-Men did it a little bit, but this was the first time we saw Peter, do you have a dollar, Parker? Peter, I work at the Daily Bugle and I get fired twice a day, Parker. Peter, man, Betty Brand has been writing me this check on advance for months, and that's my dog, Parker. Peter, I can't be anywhere on time, Parker. And that's huge. You have so many people that you never get the opportunity to meet in any of the comics previous and any of the other TV show. I didn't know who the Lizard was before this. And you have to think about the fact that, yeah, it's a little campy. Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but we're at peak educational, informational standards television at this point.
I don't think I've made you suffer enough. You've been a guest at my home, and now it's high time I visited your...
Spider-Man couldn't kill anybody. Spider-Man wasn't allowed to land on a rooftop without birds leaving the rooftop. So people knew that Spider-Man didn't land on any birds.
2 minutes.
Damn, that was beautiful, bro.
Woo! Izzy coming out the gate.
You ain't hear something.
Hot. Woo! I would like to point out, Izzy, he made a very pivotal point, which is actually something I actually had to Google, but he's not lying. When the Spider-Man 1994 series in the X-Men series came out, that is what struck a nerve in terms of reiterating the Marvel comics. Marvel comics were not selling. I mean, I've made the point before. There are a lot of Marvel comic book characters that have terrible runs, but they have great shows.
Yep.
And he highlighted that a lot in his introduction round. I really enjoy both rounds. Now we're going to get into the battle round. Now, the battle round, as stated before, both opponents get to go at each other and pull apart their shows. Now that Jeremy went first, the last round, Izzy will be going first this round. So, Izzy, you have 2 minutes to go after Jeremy, or you can continue up playing your show. Your 2 minutes starts now.
All right, man. So first, when you think of a TV show, when you want to talk about greatness, you got to consider not only the accuracy to source material, but you got to consider the accuracy to that particular character's essence. All right, we get that with Spider-Man. Do we get that with WandaVision? Do we honestly, compared to some of the stuff we see in the comics? Because I see, as much as I like the show, a watered down Wanda Maximoff.
Damn!
I mean, we out here punching. I would like to point out the fact that I think the strength of WandaVision is based on a lot of these red herrings. Homie Boner, because we wanted Quicksilver to show up. Come on, bruh.
Long lost bro, get to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
All these Mephisto almosts. Come on, get out of here. And since you roasted my theme song, which we will get to, WandaVision's not even the best show in her lineup. Loki bodies.
Oh,
Loki bodies. And I'm not talking pound for pound. I'm talking in the watch numbers.
All right, if that's what we're going with popularity,
I think more people watch Loki than WandaVision. But more importantly, you want to talk nostalgia? Yeah, the Dick Van Dyke Show is cool and all, but that doesn't get me in the bag for Wanda the same way, you know, a proper superhero showcase of her and her adventures would have. I like that we tried to house the Vision comic, but Wanda's not in that. So the best parts of your show are from a comic where she's not even involved. You know, you really got to ask yourself, what are we doing here? And why are we attempting to do it?
What the fuck that even mean, man? That mean.
Also, the Spider-Man theme song is one of the best themes of all time. All right. The X-Men theme is cool. All right. But the Spider-Man theme song, you know it. What's the WandaVision theme song?
WandaVision, WandaVision. Nah. It's kind of similar when you think about it.
Oh, bro, that 90s guitar, that drop D grunge tune.
All right, I see you, drop D, dude. I love it.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
3,
oh, man.
2.
I think that's my time.
Oh yeah, that's your time.
Dude, that was so good.
Let me just say. And again, I'm leaving my bias out. I disagree with Izzy about the Loki body WandaVision, but
I'm not saying it's a better show, but I do think more people watched it. If you look,
he's not wrong though. More people did watch Loki, according to Google. Loki had higher numbers than WandaVision in its second week. So I just want to throw that out there, and then as overall series, add more. But he's not wrong in that. But I want to say, interesting battle round for your first time, my friend.
Yes.
That was dope. That was dope. Now, Jeremy, I would love to see your response to Izzy You have 2 minutes. Your 2 minutes starts now.
You know, one thing that I really like about Izzy's argument is I think he is approaching this from a very specific and personal place, and I respect that tremendously. Once you start talking about best, we do get into the matter of subjectivity. Is it the best to me? Is it the best to you? Or is it the best collectively by some objective quantity that is, it's very elusive. It's hard to decide what that is. But when you talk about nostalgia, yes, X-Men, Spider-Man, very nostalgic to us. When you look at Dick Van Dyke all the way through Modern Family, that covers nostalgia for generations worth of people. And I think what WandaVision does so successfully, again, is it celebrates that idea of families sitting together and enjoying film.
What do you want? I have what I want. And no one will ever take it.
And there's always this Twilight Zone element kind of lurking under the scenes for those first couple episodes that do make it compelling. And to Izzy's point, a lot of this series was driven by the fan theories, but that water cooler conversation from week to week is what makes for compelling and powerful television. It's the fact that me and you can be like, is it Mephisto? Has it been Agatha all along? And those conversations. And I know for us who are all in this space of deconstructing and picking apart media, this is like catnip for us.
I know where to find you.
Wait.
And I know that a lot of people were let down by their own expectations. However, I think the storytellers masterfully strung us along. They opened up so many possibilities. They tied it into the MCU. And you've got a really great underdog story, because everything you said about Marvel being completely irrelevant at that time is true. It is also true that we probably wouldn't get to where we're at now had it not been for the success of those. But I will argue that WandaVision is a result of the success of all of those things that came before it. It shows how through the evolution of each of these little wins that Marvel had over time, that now this theater this franchise that had dominated the theater for over 10 years has now shown that it has the ability to dominate on the small screen.
2 minutes. Wow. Great response, Jeremy. The one thing I love the most, which I've written down, when you responded to Izzy, when you said that WandaVision is a direct result of all the great things that have happened in Marvel, I actually agree with that. I also loved how you touched on the nostalgia elements of WandaVision, and also those moments of where we had to keep coming back because we did not know. Every episode left us in awe, like, what the hell is going to happen? Nothing very direct. Now that was the second round. Jeremy came back very strong in the second round, responded to Izzy in many different ways. Again, I will give detailed facts about what I think about this debate at the end of the deliberations. Now we're going to jump into the final round, which is the final statements round. Now, Jeremy started first in the battle round. Izzy, now it's your turn to go once again. Izzy, in the final round, just give us what you think you should, say in regard to this Spider-Man 1994 series. You can continue responding back to Jeremy, or you can just put a bow on it. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Alex,
yes.
Am I incorrect to say that I went first in the first round?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so that means he needs to go first this time.
Oh, sorry. It's
okay. Sorry. I just don't want to mess it up.
That's very true. You went first? Izzy went first the second round. Shout out to Ian. And then now it's Jeremy's turn to go first. Sorry, I'm effing up on my own show.
Please
to replay that. Okay,
keep it alive, man. Keeping it loose.
Okay, I'm pulling my timer now. Jeremy is actually going to go first, not Izzy, and Jeremy's going to put a bow on his topic, WandaVision. Jeremy, again, you can respond or you can put a bow on it as well. Your 2 minutes starts now.
So Izzy mentioned something in round two, and I do think that there is a big question to be raised about it. Does source material need to be accurate to the adaptation, right? I mean, you look at Marvel's Civil War, very great film. How much did it share in common with Civil War? Was Spider-Man even in it? So does loyalty to a actual comic book arc make something good or bad? I think that we're just talking as far as in objective terms of the production of the show. Now, there's one thing I will say about Spider-Man is that it had volumes. It has so many episodes and so many different arcs that it's kind of difficult to take this little 9 episode miniseries and compare those two things. But I think themes matter. I think themes may even matter more than being slavishly loyal to recreating the events of the comic books. And what I really like about WandaVision is it's an exploration of grief and coping with loss and the way that can affect people. It's a very human story, and you are right, Izzy, to see Spider-Man dealing with the trials and tribulations of just being a regular person gifted with these powers. That's a very universal story. It's also one that we hear with pretty much any superhero, that's the struggle, especially according to Stan Lee.
What more do you want from me?
Is regular people with regular problems thrust into fantastical situations. I would argue when you think about the essence of Spider-Man, you don't think about 25 or 30-year-old struggling Peter Parker. You think about high school Peter Parker. I feel like it was the Stan Lee and the Jack Kirby version of the character that has been the longest lasting and the one that resonates with people the most, because it is nice to see a 16-year-old struggle with things we can all identify with. But when a 25-year-old can't pay his freaking bills and he's out there doing freelance photography, it's like, come on, dude, do something else. I guess is my point about that. It's a great animated series. I just don't feel okay. That's it. That's it.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Do something else. He said there's all these jobs out here in 1994.
You know, Jeremy puts out a really good point, because when you look at that show, Peter is a grown man, and you still live with your Aunt May.
It's hard out here for everybody. I'm not trying to undermine
I don't know,
Peter
man.
Parker's struggle.
I mean,
don't weigh that against me, bro.
All I'm saying is everybody ain't out here like you. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true. But
rent is high in New York, bro.
But there's superheroes that can pay their rent. I mean, I can understand Miles Morales' position because he's still a kid. But damn, like even in the game, Spider-Man game, the motherfucker still can't pay his rent.
I ain't gonna show up to work, man. I got time. All right. And actually, we can talk about that, and I'll bring that up. I will bring that up.
But that was a really, really good point. Now, Izzy, this is your final chance to put a bow and to respond back to what Jeremy had to say. I have to say, though, this has been a very funny and educational match for me, learning the different elements of both of these shows. Izzy, your 2 minutes starts now.
Spider-Man, as a character, is a lot of things to a lot of people. Yes, occasionally he is a broke kid that can't pay his rent. In the show, he is 25 and a student at Empire State University. And you can talk about how a lot of this is regular people thrust into fantastical situations and attempting to solve their problems. But for me, and I think for a lot of people who are, even casually invested in the Spider-Man ethos, Spider-Man is a story about struggling to be the you would like to be in the face of problems and obstacles.
Gotcha, webhead. Calm down, Rhino. It's me, the chameleon. I'm only looking this way so I can get close enough to grab.
And people lose that with the Spider-Man is broken, can't pay his bills. And that's the running joke. But primarily, it's how do we on this show, how does Peter Parker continue to be the Peter Parker who wants to be in the face of his obstacles as Spider-Man? How does he continue to be Spider-Man in the face of his obstacles and his obligations as Peter Parker? And when you look at it in that context, this show does a phenomenal job. I'm not going to be the person that argues slavish devotion to source material. I am going to be the person that argues that the theme of grief is important, but does not overshadow the theme of self-actualization, which is a problem we all cope with every day.
This whole thing is about Vision.
Get out of my house.
Hayward was trying to bring him.
Don't talk to me about that. I don't want to hear about it.
So to see someone like Pete, especially as a nerdy kid like me, who was doing his best, working hard, and things weren't working out right, that was crazy. It changed me as a kid, to see that sometimes things don't go well, but you show up to work anyway. You continue to do the job. You do the best you can anyway. And I think that Spider-Man did that for a lot of people. And I think when you compare that to what you get in WandaVision, which is a really crappy message about grief, you can do whatever you want to whoever you want and then go hide in the mountains.
That's true, dude. Sorry.
That's not a good look. And yes, the shows have different goals.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
God, dude, that was amazing. I want to say for the record, I'm not telling Spider-Man to pull himself up off his bootstraps.
No.
Hey, look, and right outside of this frame is chicken wires for the rest of my apartment. So I ain't got it like that.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I could make so many Republican jokes right now.
So good, dude. I couldn't help it. I mean,
he's out there in Pensacola. They get down like that, man.
Oh my God. I could make so many of those. Yeah,
man.
I'm definitely not gonna go there because I know some of them probably watch my show. But yeah, wow, Izzy, that was a really good final round.
Yeah,
man, definitely got to bring you back for the show and some other stuff, man. But that was a really good match. I'm gonna break down each round for round. But before we do that, I want to say thank you guys again for being on the show. It was much appreciated. Had a whole lot of fun. But let's go ahead and jump into the first round. Now, in the first round, Izzy and Jeremy came out very, very strong, especially with Izzy. He said, this was Peter Parker that we saw in the comic books, comic book frame for frame for frame. We saw him struggle. We saw him get fired and hired. We saw him do things as Spider-Man that as a kid you could relate to in watching the show. I remember dating back watching the show as a kid, which he made very, very clear. I did not like my Marvel comics, but when I watched the X-Men in the Spider-Man show, it got me intrigued into the characters. The Spider-Man comic book run is probably the best out of every single Marvel comic book, maybe Black Panther. But I mean, well, there's some Black Panther runs that I like, that I do love. But in the past, that particular show really highlighted their key characters, especially the Spider-Man 1994 show. He also brought the point that Spider-Man, that particular Spider-Man, expands the Spider-Man mythos where we see the Lizard, Shocker, Mysterio, and other different characters as well. He said this is the first time we get to see the essence of who Peter Parker is. I mean, there's a balance between Parker and Spider-Man in this show, which he articulated very well. I really enjoyed that. However, I love what Jeremy said in the first round in terms of the act. He made some digs at Spider-Man. The theme song is kind of campy. I mean, Spider-Man, it is kind of campy to a degree. I have to agree with him, but I love what he said about WandaVision, where WandaVision takes a lot of like nostalgia tropes from other TV shows that have nothing to do with the Marvel comic universe, from I Love Lucy to Modern Family. I mean, they crafted this show in a way where we clearly know that something is wrong. That's why we keep coming back to watch this show, because when you look at other Marvel TV shows, not to say that they were not as great as WandaVision, even though the ending was kind of like, we still that mystery of who is it? Is it Mephisto? Is it this? Like, what the fuck is going on? They created that element because Wanda was going batshit crazy. And I love how he articulated in the first round. He also said that, to a degree, some of the characters in the Spider-Man universe, I mean, yes, Peter not paying his rent at 25. I mean, come on, dude. Like, seriously, I get it, but it is what it is. Now let's go ahead and jump into, before we jump into the second round, because Izzy had a stronger presence in the first round, I have to give him that point for the first round.
Disagreed, Alex.
I do agree that he had a better stance of how he articulated that. Now let's jump into the battle round. Now the battle round is always my favorite round. Now, Izzy, I'm not gonna lie, you came out strong when you said, WandaVision, in a sense, there are a lot of things that were going on that we didn't necessarily understand that were just failed attempts of, getting you hyped, and then the payoff was kind of bad, like the Ralph Boner, Mephisto. Obviously this show was ran by fan theories. It was like there were plenty of people who went, which he mentioned, there are plenty of people who watched this show and went on YouTube directly and just to see if there was like an Easter egg that we missed or secret book, and like, oh shit, there could be nightmares, and like yes, the essence of fan theories essentially overran this show to a degree. I agreed with him when he said that. He also said that WandaVision had nothing to do essentially with the comics. He's not wrong, because WandaVision in a sense is not necessarily came to the House of M storyline. So I understand where he's coming from in terms of it didn't have that bind to it. However, I gotta go with Jeremy's debate. He also said something very key. He said just because it's not based off source of material doesn't mean you don't necessarily have to stray away from it. Wanda showed us a lot of human moments in that. I mean, there's some things that even in her comic book run didn't necessarily, in my opinion, would fit right on screen. And Jeremy articulated there's some nostalgia elements that they put together in this show, along with Wanda evolving as a character, kept you engaged in WandaVision. Again, I am not a huge fan of the Wanda Maximoff character, but because of that show and even how our Jeremy articulated, it kept me engaged in between. So I have to say that Jeremy did a better job in responding back to Izzy. So I'm going to give Jeremy that point for the battle round. Now we're going to talk about the final round. Now, Jeremy started off in the final round, and Jeremy said something very, very key that I tend to agree with. When we're watching Spider-Man is 25 years old, living with his aunt, can barely pay his rent. I mean, there's a sense of things where he said that when you look at the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee era, we can understand that when Peter is like 15, 16, 17. But when you're watching it and you kind of like, you really start to dissect it, like, bro, what the fuck are you like? You could go work at McDonald's.
Not
you
New
know
York.
what I mean? And like,
no,
and
you're not wrong about that.
I even made the point, like, even in the game, which I think is the best Spider-Man game ever,
all day.
Man is homeless. Like, he lives with Mary Jane. Like,
in the Spider-Man game? No, he's got his own apartment.
Well,
he started off the game in his apartment.
He started off in an apartment, then he got threw out.
He doesn't get through. He gets thrown. I don't think he gets thrown out, man.
He got evicted. I played the game like 50 times. He
got
evicted. He got evicted, and then he started living with his aunt for like half a day, and then he started staying with Mary Jane when she let him in. Like, yeah. So that narrative of Spider-Man, which is key to his character, is an ongoing narrative that does happen, but at some point it gets kind of redundant as he gets older. But we're not talking about the game. We're talking about what Jeremy said in the.
Can I say real quick? I know I have to keep defending myself. I'm a hardcore Marxist. I fucking like seriously. I thought it was a good zinger. I fucking hate capitalism.
Oh man!
But I also want to point
out there.
I want to point out. Jeremy said something key that I wrote down here. I had to look for it, but there are some Twilight Zone elements in WandaVision, and I didn't think about that till just now. It is because in a sense it's kind of like did this really happen, or is it all in someone's imagination? And that is one of the key things that kept a lot of people engaged. I enjoyed that. Also, he also made a great point. WandaVision is a direct result of all the great things that have happened in Marvel. So in a sense, he's paying homage to, if it wasn't for Spider-Man 1994 and its success, we wouldn't have something like WandaVision, which he's actually right. Yes, if we didn't have those things in the past that were actually great, WandaVision wouldn't be as great as it is now. So I enjoyed his rounds in the third round. Izzy, I actually love what you said in the final round. Oh, I want to point out one other thing. Jeremy did say, does source material really matter? It doesn't. If you look at all the stuff that we have seen in WandaVision, I can't point back to a certain comic book where it went bar for bar for bar for bar. So source material does not necessarily matter. It matters to a point, but it also means you have to have great writing behind the story, which he alluded to. Now I'm gonna jump into what Izzy said in his final round. The best point I've heard this whole debate. This is the worst way to deal with grief. It is.
He is not wrong about that.
She fucking captured a town.
Bro,
and
she got away with it.
Like, this is
hey,
the worst.
dude, if you were a white lady, you'd get away with it too, dude.
Well, I'm not, so I'm extra mad.
This was the worst way to deal with grief. First of all, the person you love can be rebuilt. That in itself is like, okay, what are you really upset about? Like, come on, but I love that point. That point was like a heavy hitter. He also made points in the previous round that I didn't mention, but I also mentioned that, that yes, WandaVision, although it was good for what it was, there were other shows that did outperform it. But given the fact that that's not what we're talking about, it is a good point to make. However, I also want to make the also point that he's right in terms of Peter's livelihood as the essence of that particular character. Peter of being struggling and then being Spider-Man, saving the city and being who he wants to be is something that show definitely articulates. I don't think that Peter will always be homeless for the rest of his life, but he does make a great point that there's some relatability aspects of a guy just trying to do the right thing. And ultimately, we do see him do the right thing, and we do see him become the hero that we hope to see. Now, normally I would go into sudden death, but since there's like an edge here, and I really want to give it to this person, and I love both of them. Izzy, you did an amazing job for your first time, but I have to give this debate to Jeremy.
Winner.
I have to give this to Jeremy.
Man.
Did such a great job defending WandaVision, but you were almost there,
bro.
You were almost there.
His third round moved me and made me realize I'm over here fighting for Batman while he's fighting for Spider-Man. I am on the wrong side.
Oh, the wrong side.
I have to say, because there was something about Jeremy's argument in terms of what WandaVision was able to do, because there was something about WandaVision that we've never seen before. I can make the same argument about the 1994 Spider-Man.
Other than the other 35 Spider-Mans.
I'm not going to lie.
Not the time.
I'm not going to lie. Izzy, for your first time, you did a really, really good job. I definitely have to bring you back for this show.
You got to run it back. This can't stand.
I don't think it will, bro. I honestly don't think it will. I've gone against a couple of competitors, and I don't want to call out names of people because there's a lot of great competitors. Reggie, Tristan, and Izzy are amazing competitors. If you hadn't half as much time preparing and doing it, because I've just done it week after week, you would smoke me, dude. So thank you for a fantastic debate. I feel like I'm honored, Alex, that you chose me for that, and I don't know that you made the right call. For real, dude, that was amazing.
Man, just put it in the comment section. I love adversity. Yeah, you know what's funny? When I did the Holden debate with Ian, a lot of people thought Holden won, but we both know if we watched that debate, hey, and I love you, Holden, bro, you was not ready. You was not ready. Nah. But even in the Martin Fresh Prince debate that I won for a reason. Just want to throw that out there. But I want to thank you guys for being on the show. For Patreon supporters, it will definitely be up on Wednesday, and then the actual show will drop on Friday for everyone on YouTube. But before we head out, Izzy, where can we find you on YouTube and social media?
At 4 Nerds, 1 podcast, number 4 Nerds, number 1 podcast on everything. So Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And we actually just kind of got our YouTube rolling. So we got a couple of videos. We're doing 1 video a week right now, and more stuff to come.
Awesome. And Jeremy, where can we find you every week on YouTube?
Check out Movies Are Terrible. And I gotta say, if this was a little taste of the insight into the kind of takes that they're offering over there, then definitely make sure to subscribe. Izzy, I hope to do this again. Maybe we can do some collaborating in the future, man.
For sure.
Definitely. Now we have to go, but stay tuned for next week's debate. It's going to be even more amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching Real Debate Season 3. And as always, you guys, have a blessed day.